recording is on. Just,
Oh, good. Here's the first.
yeah, I know.
We ready? This meeting is being held in conformance with the Sunshine Law. Notice of time, date, and place has been furnished to the Bergen Record and the Ridgewood News. Notice has also been posted on the Bulletin Board of the Administration Building. Would the clerk kindly take the roll?
Mayor Giordano.
Here.
Mr. Bjork.
Here remotely.
Ms. Saracola.
Here.
Mr. Ritchie.
Here.
Mr. Schatz.
Here.
Mr. Shalero.
Here.
Mrs. Sherman.
Here.
Everyone kindly rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Have a moment of silence for all our Walkley veterans, all veterans around the world who have given the ultimate sacrifice to keep us free, so we are allowed to assemble like we are today. Clerk, kindly do the prayer.
We thank you for everyone gathered here now. Thank you that you know each of us by name and have caused us to walk with you. We say that we are dependent on you and our trust is in you completely. As we surrender ourselves in adoration, we ask that you would come by your Holy Spirit and inspire our hearts today. Come fill our lives with your love, fill our conversations with your grace and truth, fill this meeting with your presence. We ask this for your glory and praise. Amen.
Amen. Tonight, we are gathered here to swear in Matthew Palmieri as our newly police officer to join the ranks in the Waldeck Police Department. Matthew is a 2015 graduate of Waldeck High School. After graduating, he attended Keene University, where he received a degree in sociology and psychology. He is now currently pursuing his master's in forensic psychology. Matthew was a 5-year member of the men's lacrosse team, serving as captain for the last 3 years. He has also served as an officer and a registered agent for People Are There, a nonprofit organization dedicated to raising awareness of mental health issues and to combat the stigma associated with it. Matthew, always remember what Steve Jobs said. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Matthew, we wish you much success and happiness in your new position as a Waldeck police officer. Be safe and enjoy your training at the Fire Academy that starts on Friday. We hope you have a rewarding career protecting all of us in the borough of Waldwick. At this time, I'd like to have Matthew kindly come up with his family to be sworn in.
I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of police officer for the borough of Waldeck, Bergen County, according to the best of my ability, and that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state on the authority of the people. So help me God.
We're going to be continuing our meeting in a couple of minutes. Oh, listen to that. Couple of items under my report. First of all, last week, we had the Moonlighters Swing Orchestra play at the Borough Park. It was a band that was here last year, and they did a great job for us. Tomorrow, we're going to be having Tim Geisen play for us, even though the weather is going to be kind of hot. We're still going to have the event. Just make sure you bring some water to make sure you're hydrated. Also, on Sunday, we had the 8th anniversary of the death of our police officer, Christopher Goodell. There was the family had a little get-together in Borough Park. Chris served our community, and unfortunately his life was taken serving us. So we will always keep his name and his memory alive in our borough. That's all I have to report right now. Financial Administrative Committee, Mr. Shalero.
Thank you, Mayor. Next week, we're going to be meeting with the auditor who conducted our 2021 audit, and we'll be having the exit conference and reviewing the findings of the audit. We'll be reporting on that shortly thereafter. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Fire and Police Protection Committee, Mr. Saracola.
Thank you, Mayor. Since our last meeting back in June, I attended the Junior Police Academy graduation on June 24th. It celebrated the accomplishments of 44 camp recruits this year during the week-long program run by the Waldeck Police Department. They worked with the students to put together an awesome video, which will be linked on my Facebook page later, and it's also on the town site. The kids had the opportunity to tour a state police helicopter, MetLife Stadium, hear from Bergen County Sheriff's Department K-9 Unit and Bomb Squad, Bergen County SWAT Team, Waldeck Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and the Waldeck, New Jersey Volunteer Fire Department. So it was a really cool experience, and I'm sure that it'll be even better next year. As the mayor mentioned, there was a celebration of Chris Goodell's life this past weekend on Saturday that was well attended, marking the 8-year anniversary of losing him. Also on East Prospect Street from Franklin Turnpike to Route 17 interchange, it will be milled and paved the week of 7/25. So the police are going to do their best not to disrupt the residents and businesses in the area, but there are certain challenges based on the layout of the roads and access to the business parking lots. And finally, I'd like to congratulate police recruit Matthew Palmieri, who was sworn in tonight. The fire department ended June with 26 calls for service, 6 of them being mutual aid calls, one of those mutual aid calls being a multiple alarm fire. Drills have continued. They began rescue jack training on their new equipment, and most recently they were out with the newer members going over proper technique to hook up a fire hydrant. That will be all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Public Safety Committee, Mr. Schatz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I attended an ambulance corps meeting last night, and I wanted to bring up June's calls and people who pulled the most calls. They had 44 calls in June, with the most being done by Ben Hines and Adam Caloro. I also have the half-yearly report of 254 calls so far this year in the half-yearly call. They have, just to point out some of the things on arriving times, they have basically 72% of the calls were done in 0 to 5 minutes or less, with 20% of it between 5 and 10 minutes. I also wanted to report that the highest ones pulling duty were Adam Caloro and Ken Gurian for the half-yearly so far. As far as environmental goes, I'm not going to report on environmental because they're all for the summertime, and we'll go back to environmental tasks back again in September. Thank you.
Thank you. Recreation and Health Committee, Councilwoman Sherman.
Okay, I have been through the parks. They continually be used by our families. It's nice to see all the children there having a nice time. Let's see. Last meeting, I mentioned that Borough Park needed mowing. It was mowed. I also mentioned the new gardens that were planted. Unfortunately, the DPW cut down all the gardens that were planted by the Beautification Committee near the waterfall. They were mature plants that were donated by a member and planted by the committee. Total man hours and woman hours of approximately 18 were destroyed. The summer concert series continues. Last week, we had the Moonlighters, as the mayor mentioned. They were really wonderful. We had a nice turnout of people. Tomorrow night, our very own Tim Geisen, who grew up in Waldwick and still lives in Waldwick, will perform at 7 p.m. He has a wide range of songs and genres that he performs, so please come out. Be sure to bring your chairs, some food, drinks, and a donation for the food pantry so we could donate it. It should be a nice evening, so wear your bug spray and come on out. And then on July 27th, we have the Coots, who will perform, which is not in another week. So that's another one to look forward to. I'm wondering if we could send out a nixle the day of the concert, maybe just to remind people. I think in the summer people might just forget. So please come out to the Borough Park tomorrow night. Let's see, the pool membership is ongoing. Stop by the pool if you haven't already gotten your membership. They're there and they will sign you up. The gate at Ted Bell Park, I was informed, will be installed the end of July, so that's a good thing. We have, the state came in and planted at the highway, which I want to thank Patrick for all of his work to get that done and for working with me. It's been a dream of mine, and it's nice to see how pretty it looks. So I thank the DOT for awarding us with that 2 beautiful gardens. It was really very kind of them. On Monday I have a WAFA meeting, Waldwick Access for All, at 7 o'clock here in the chambers. Kelly sent a nixle out today about the county cooling centers. The information, I'm sure, is on our website, or look at the nixle. I wanted to acknowledge the 8th anniversary of Officer Christopher Goodell's death and ask everyone to keep him, his family, and loved ones, and his fellow officers in your thoughts and prayers. And I wanted to congratulate our newest police officer, Matthew Palmieri, and wish him luck in the academy and a very safe career. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works Committee, Mr. Ritchie.
Thank you, Mayor. So most of the activity over the last month, I think you all probably have noticed a lot of the activity on the road. So the DPW has been helping kind of prepare for the road program. You've probably seen this week or last week as well a lot of activity on Prospect Street as we kind of prepare for that, which will be starting, I think, on the 25th, if I'm not mistaken. So be prepared for those road closures. We're currently working with 3 outside contractors as well. I've had a chance to interact with quite a lot with one of them. They've been using my street to park their equipment. I have to say they've been fantastic, really, really pleasant to the community. And I think that when you see road work, you often worry that you're gonna be impacted. I think that they've done a nice job of working around the residents as we've been shuffling our cars and trying to get through some of the detours. So it's been great, and I look forward to the road program starting forward. As I said, the DPW has been assisting there a lot. We met again recently to reinitiate discussions on a software program that would hopefully increase engagement with the community between the DPW workers and give you the ability as residents to log requests or things that you see around town. So trying to increase visibility and accountability there as well. We're going to, in our resolutions today, hopefully vote on a new hire in DPW. They've been down a couple folks over the last month or two, and that's been impacting them. So I think that this will help. Hopefully that goes well. And, you know, all of this in addition to the general maintenance. So I think that is everything for this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Building and Grounds Committee, Mr. York.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Borough Administrator Patrick Weary.
No report, thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Grant Administrator Matthew.
No report, Mayor.
Borough Clerk Kelly.
I do have a report, Mayor.
Okay.
I sent you all a email this morning with regards to some additions to the agenda. We have a new policy vote D and F, and the reason that they've been added is because I need approval for the alcohol. Resolution 2022-250 is just a renewal of a limo license. Resolution 2022-251 is to authorize a new limo license. Also added was 2022-260, which was the release of a dumpster escrow. Mike Latore has signed off on that as there's no damage to the roadway. Also, 2022-261 is approval of out-of-town pool refunds. We did this last year. We just had a couple last year. These are the couple we have for this year, just for various reasons, and I think I stated that in the resolution. And 2022-262 is approval of a refund for an overpayment of the swim team fee. This parent signed up 2 of her children, but in separate accounts, so she didn't get the discount. So we're refunding her that $15 for the discount. Just wanted to update you on elections. I did contact the county, provided them with a list of places to move our polling places for going forward in November. The commissioners will review that and set up inspections, and I'll be going to those inspections with them once they're set up. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Our acting attorney, Eric.
No reports, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Consent resolutions and resolutions of the governing body.
Thank you, Mayor. Be it resolved that the following resolutions herewith listed by consent, having been considered by the governing body of the Borough of Waldeck, are hereby passed and approved with the removal of 2022-245. 2022-242, approval of consent. 2022-243, approval of minutes, special meeting June 9th, 2022, and regular meeting and closed session meeting June 21st, 2022. Policy votes. A, Michael Constantino requests to use Pavilion B on July 22nd from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. for a picnic with alcoholic beverages being served. B, Emily Tedeschi requests to use Pavilion B on July 23rd from 4 p.m. to dusk for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. C, Tyler Saunders of Stryker requests to use Pavilion A on August 3rd from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. for a team picnic with alcoholic beverages being served. D, Jennifer Corbett requests to use Pavilion A on August 6th from 1 p.m. to dusk for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. E, Cal Patel of DecuSoft requests to use Pavilion A on August 11th from 3 p.m. to dusk for a company picnic with alcoholic beverages being served. F, Jessica Hummel requests to use Pavilion B on August 13th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. G, Claire Jacquin requests to use Pavilion A on August 20th from 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. for a family reunion with alcoholic beverages being served. H, Donna Palladino of the Italian American Social Club of Waldeck requests to use Pavilion A on August 21st from 10 a.m. to dusk for the Ferragusto dinner with alcoholic beverages being served. I, Emily Tedeschi, requests to use Pavilion A on September 10th from 3 p.m. to dusk for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. J, Emily Tedeschi, requests to use Pavilion A on October 2nd from 3:30 to dusk for a birthday party with alcoholic beverages being served. K, the Zion Lutheran Church requests to hang a 5-foot by 6-foot banner along the fence where Prospect Street enters Waldeck from Route 17 from July 30th through August 12th. L, appointment of James B. McNaught as junior member of the Waldeck Fire Department. 2022-244, authorize receipt of bids. 2022-246, award a fair and open contract to Gold Type Business Machines, Inc. for patrol car computers and mounts in the amount of $58,888.08. 2022-247, approval to submit a grant application with the State of New Jersey for the American Rescue Plan Firefighters Grant Program. 2022-248, authorize shared service agreement with Bergen County for the snow plow and salting of county roadways within the borough for the 2022 to 2024 seasons. 2022-249, authorized contract with the Community Band of Waldeck in the amount of $900. 2022-250, authorized amendment to the AutoCab license for InStyle LLC. 2022-251, authorized AutoCab license, All County Car Service and Limo LLC. 2022-252, appointment of Laborer 1. 2022-253, appointment of a 2022 pool lifeguard for Riley Salerno. 2022-254, appointment of 2022 pool lifeguard Emily Abbott. 2022-255, accept resignation of full-time public safety telecommunicator Marissa Santo. 2022-256, amend approval of take-home vehicles for 2022. 2022-257, redemption of tax title lien 18-00615. 2022-258, authorized refund of security deposit to Pharma Stage for rental of second-floor ambulance corps building. 2022-259, payment of vouchers. 2022-260, authorized release of dumpster escrow for 29 Howard Place. 2022-261, pool refund registration fees, various. 2022-262, refund overpayment, Waldwick Swim Team fee.
Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Councilman Shalero, second by Councilman Ritchie. On the question. Just, no, good, no, good. No, good.
I was just wondering about K, the Zion Lutheran Church request to hang a banner.
Mhm.
Is there any information on that? Because typically, isn't it just Waldwick, things promoted for Waldwick groups, promoting things within the borough, and this is
In Saddle River.
in Saddle River?
I had backup.
I saw the
Oh, you
backup,
did,
I
okay.
just didn't understand. I was always under the assumption that it was just for Waldwick events on that sign. Do we really want to have all these billboards for out-of-town things, and where does it stop? It's going to be. I would like to see it pulled.
Pull it and discuss it privately, or just pull it? Under consent, okay. Anyone else? I just want to talk about the approval of take-home vehicles. This was a subject that we talked about a lot during different council meetings or different budgets. This year, the fire chief is receiving a new chief's car. The old chief's car is going to the assistant chief, which means we're adding a new vehicle to the fleet. We've never had an assistant chief's car, but now we have it. And the assistant chief is asked that the car be stationed at his house instead of here at the firehouse. I think there was a lot of talk about leaving it here or letting the assistant chief have it. I've always thought one way, but during one of the events that we had in Borough Park, the assistant chief was in the chief's vehicle because the chief was in the hospital, and he was at his son's baseball game. And he pulled out of Borough Park in the chief's vehicle, and in back of him was his wife and his 2 kids. So he knows not to take advantage, and he knows what the policy of the town is. And I think even if we decided to think about it, this is something that I think is good to give to him, because he knows the way that we want him to treat the car. Anyone else?
Mayor, I have one item.
Yes.
I had asked the clerk to pull Resolution 2022-245. We need some more paperwork from the contractor on this Foley, so we'll bring this to you at a subsequent meeting.
Okay. Anyone else? Clerk, take the roll.
Mr. Bjork?
Yes.
Ms. Sericola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yes, with the exception of the June 9th minutes, because I was not at the special meeting.
Okay,
So
now
what-
would you like to talk about K?
Yeah, I think Council President raises some really nice points. I actually think we should keep it for just Waldwick residents. So, in light of that, I'm inclined to vote no.
There's a lot of people in that church also, the residents of that they are parishioners of that church, if that means.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we know
Anyone
what the banner's for? Like, what is it advertising?
Yeah, I do. It's advertising a concert that they're holding, a free concert for everybody invited for a Beatles Mania type tribute band.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Only one thing to add. I believe it's in the park. It's scheduled for a park in town. The rain date would be at their location at the church.
Not in
The
our
rain
town.
location. No, not in our town, in their town.
Mr. Mayor, I believe that over there, that is for most of the groups in the town. I really don't think we should be doing an advertising of things that are outside the town. It just seems like it's not a billboard over there. It appears to be, we put ambulance corps there, we put the pride flag there, we put, we do have the landscaping, but they also come from that, but because they do the landscaping. But that is that advertising, but that's for a specific reason. But otherwise, I don't think we should be making it a billboard.
Anyone else? Clerk, please take the roll.
Do you,
All those in favor of having it not put on? You said you,
I would like to not have it.
right,
Yeah.
I think I said that.
No, it's just that.
All those in favor of not having the banner put up, kindly say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you'll let them know that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
and then, that's it, right?
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
Public hearings. Would the clerk kindly read ordinance number 2022-19?
Ordinance number 2022-19, an ordinance authorizing the Borough of Waldeck to enter into a lease agreement with the Waldeck High School Graduation Ball, Inc. for the use of the old DPW complex.
Anyone on the council would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? This is a contract that we have with the Grad Ball every year. We get into a lease agreement with them that they use our DPW garage, and there are certain stipulations and regulations and rules that they follow. That is the contract set up, and we agree with it. And 9 times out of 10, if not even 10 times out of 10, they follow the rules to a T. Anyone else from the council? I close the council's comments and open to the public. Anybody from the public would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? If not, I close the public's comments and ask for a motion and a second to pass this ordinance on second reading, and that the clerk be authorized to advertise in the local legal newspapers as required by law. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Councilman Sherman and second by Councilman Schatz. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Bjork?
Yes.
Ms. Saracola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Would the clerk kindly read ordinance number 2022-20?
Ordinance number 2022-20, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2022-12, Section 2, annual salaries for other officials and employees, to change administrative/executive section, clerk 1 salary range to $40,000 to $65,000, fire department section, fire police with hourly rate of $15, Section 3, add part-time title of seasonal help with hourly rate of $11.90 to $17.
Anyone from the council would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? Schlero.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, every year we do an ordinance that sets compensation limits for especially our non-organized labor employees, those salaries are set by contract with each of those unions, each of those bargaining units. So this is an ordinance that sets up the salary ranges for all of the other positions in the borough. We found that we have to make some adjustments based on some new positions and some new hires, and so we're adjusting the ordinance that we did earlier in the year to accommodate those positions.
Anyone else? If not, I close the council's comments and I open up to the public. Anybody from the public would like to comment on this ordinance that was just read? If not, I close the public's comments and ask for a motion and a second to pass this ordinance on second reading, and that the clerk be authorized to advertise in the local legal newspapers as required by law. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Councilman Shalero, second by Councilman Ritchie. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mr. Bjork?
Yes.
Ms. Saracola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
We have one introduction of ordinance. Would the clerk kindly read ordinance 2022-22?
Ordinance number 2022-22, an ordinance amending Chapter 54, Section 6, registration and maintenance of vacant and abandoned properties.
A motion and a second is in order to move and pass this ordinance on first reading, and that it will be advertised in local legal newspapers as required by law, setting a hearing 2 weeks from tonight's meeting at 7:30 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be reached. Do I have a motion and a second? Motion by Councilwoman Sherman, second by Councilman Shalero. What this is this, we introduced this at our last meeting. But what happened is we're reintroducing it now because we had to update the new regulations that we had to put into it. So we're just doing it again. Anyone else? Clerk, kindly take the roll.
Mr. Bjork? Ms. Saracola?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
Yes.
Mr. Schatz?
Yes.
Mr. Shalero?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yes.
Unfinished business. Anyone from the council have any unfinished business they would like to discuss? Yes.
Thank you. Councilman Bjork mentioned that the showers were fixed at the ambulance corps. They are fixed? I don't know. And the mushrooms, are they gone?
So the shower was to be fixed at the ambulance corps. I personally didn't get an update from the DPW, but I know that Councilman Bjork had talked to our Superintendent Latore, and if he was told that, I'm sure it's the case. Separately, the mushrooms, I know that the rug has been or will be in the near term removed from there. But the borough's part of this was contracting for flooring to be put down there. We've got the contractor, we submitted samples to the ambulance corps for them to decide what colors they would like. Matt, did they come back to us, do you know?
Not yet, but
Not
the
yet.
PO was issued today, so I
Yeah.
followed up. I'm trying to get that color
Yeah,
done by
yeah.
tomorrow or the day after to get the order placed.
Yeah, so we're on track to have that replaced.
Okay.
Patrick, I can add a little bit of update. At the meeting last night, the showers were fixed. And they've painted now, and they talked about the flooring that you were working on. They wanted to know if they could submit, they have another contractor that had gotten prices already, and I said, well, you can talk to Patrick about that. So if they have another one and it's, it's okay with them, they could submit it, but.
Yeah, tell them to reach out to me. I mean, certainly the borough looks for the lowest responsible quote. So if it is an equal to or better than product with the lower price, the borough would certainly entertain it. The sooner the better. So
Okay.
have them reach out to me tomorrow.
Right, okay.
There were
And
two
I-
bids already given. So it would be good to get a third one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell them that. We talked about it last night, and I said to
Good.
contact you.
Yeah.
And then they just wanted you to go over there and get the DPW over there to the air conditioner
They were over there today.
pump was.
Yep.
Thank
Leaking. Yep.
Thanks.
Any other unfinished business? New business for council? Anybody, new business? Nobody? Oh, yes.
I would just publicly like to put on record that one of our best attendance people have a very big birthday on August 3rd. Mr. Al Colden, wishing you a happy 90th birthday. May God continue to bless you, Mr. Colden, and thank you for all you do for the borough.
Any other new business? If not, yes.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
I can. Go ahead.
Hey, down by the park, you know the cul-de-sac where they're developing the houses, and they built one, they got a foundation in for one.
Yeah, Sherman Court.
Any update on they're planning on, continuing, or why they stopped again, or?
I can ask the construction official for an update. I know last we spoke about it, the construction official and I was maybe 2 months ago, and they were making progress, albeit slow. But I can follow up for another update.
I mean, it's fairly maintained. I mean, they got the fence around it, and, there's a lot of wild grass down there anyway, so I don't think it looks too bad, but I just was wondering. The other thing is, I know the pavilion usage, I happened to be down in the park on Sunday. Do we address the use of, food trucks at all?
Yes, we do. It's in their application.
So
I provided to the fire official and to the,
I couldn't hear you.
Let her talk, you'll hear him.
Yeah, we know.
Go ahead.
we are aware of it. It's on their application. We provide it to the fire official and also the health department.
Okay, cool. All right, that was it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I have something.
Yes.
I received a complaint about the crosswalks on Wyckoff Ave and Franklin Turnpike, that they're worn away. Is there anything we can do about repainting them?
Yeah, I can contact the county.
Okay.
We have other areas on Wyckoff Ave that we've been contacting the county continuously for, if it's not a year, over a year, but we can add this to the list.
Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you add something on the list also for me?
Please.
When you're coming off of Route 17, going north,
Uh-huh.
there's all those trees that have over the sign that says Waldwick.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've been calling. Could we call a little bit more?
Yeah, DOT, I can reach out to them again.
Anyone else?
Mr. Administrator, they're working on, the county's also working on Franklin Turnpike on the handicap sidewalks over here.
That's a borough project. That's in correlation with the East Prospect Street project.
I was going to say, did we get a couple extra on that road as well?
Now, I know that it's on Franklin Turnpike, but two things we consider. One, anytime you pave to near a sidewalk, it has to be upgraded to ADA standards. And so we will end probably maybe about a third into that ADA crosswalk. So it has to be replaced. The other one is even when the county does it, they'll pay us some, like let's say the county is going to pay Franklin Turnpike, they'll pay us a portion of our engineering costs, but they don't pay any of the construction costs. So there's really, any savings is negligible, and they won't be paving Franklin Turnpike for quite a while. You're welcome.
Okay, anyone else? Public comments? Anybody from the public would like to comment on anything? Please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Eric Laporta, 3 Van Dam Place, Waldwood. Last night we had a very potent smell from the sewer authority. Can't hear you. I'm talking into it. Oh. We had a very potent smell from the sewer authority. 6 neighbors on our block, we called the police department. We didn't get any response at all from the sewer authority or anybody to come up. I got a call about 2 o'clock this afternoon from the DEP, and they said, do not call the police department. Every time I've asked council, they said that's the first thing to do. I would like to try to get it rectified. What you gentlemen and ladies would like us to do, please. They said it was never said, ever said at a meeting that we did call the police. Can somebody please rectify this?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So the directions are for residents to call the 877 Warren DEP, and if you don't speak with anybody at DEP, you can call the county line as well. Part of that process is a little bit frustrating in that when you call the DEP number, or if you report it to the DEP through their online portal, sometimes it takes some time for them to either respond themselves or for them to refer it to the Bergen County Department of Health. They make the DEP makes a decision on who's going to handle it, either them or the county, based on the DEP's availability. Both of them send out inspectors to do the same thing. So, so it's beneficial to call DEP because they're staffed 24/7, but it may take some time for them to get over to the county. It helps to go directly to the county because they can respond quicker, but they're not staffed 24/7. They're Monday to Friday. I think it's 9 to 4. So
Correct.
It's best if you call both. In addition, you can call the Waldwick Police Department. That helps us just internally. We don't investigate the odor itself, but we can substantiate the claim of any resident. The reason it's important to call either the DEP or the county line is because when the inspector comes out, they want to meet with the resident, and that resident is asked to complete a form stating that the odor had an effect of the, I don't know the exact language, but it boils down to the quiet enjoyment of their property. And the quiet enjoyment of their property is a right that a resident has, and if an odor is so noxious that it affects that, it could be considered air pollution by the DEP standard. So the investigators from the DEP and or the county need to speak with a resident so the resident can file that form and they can take action if it's substantiated by that inspector. The inspector could come out and not smell what you smell, in which case, or not they could smell it maybe and not locate where it's emanating from. In that case, there'll be no conclusion to it. But for any official conclusion to come from it, the resident needs to file directly with DEP or the county. But it's good to also call our police department. You can call the non-emergency line because we'll send somebody out there. We'll talk to the sewer authority. We report it to them too, whereas the DEP and the
Should
county
we call them too?
It's one of those things where it's frustrating as a resident, but the more people you call, the better response you'll get. Should you call the sewer commission? Yeah, you could call them. You could go to their meetings as well. I know that this had caused some confusion. In fact, I heard from somebody at the DEP today, so I worked up some information we'll put on our website that will go. I'm sure it will be posted this week. So for any residents who are looking to report this on our website, you can go to Residents on the top bar, there's a drop-down for how, or report, and then it'll say report an odor complaint. You can go there, it'll have the number for the DEP, it'll have the number for the county. So hopefully that clears up any confusion, and I'm sorry if there was some
Patrick,
from before.
You know, like, again, exactly what you said. But nobody will come out, especially, and, you know, it's 24 hours, 48 hours.
Yeah,
You know, 48 hours later, is the smell there?
yeah,
99 out of 100, it's gone.
yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's completely gone.
And,
You know, and it all depends on the, and like, we can't, nobody here can control the weather.
right,
You know, and when I left here to come to the meeting tonight, there was an aroma,
Mhm.
you know, and the weather brings it in.
yeah.
You know, I'm sure it's going to be a little bit disturbing this week with the hot weather.
The humidity tends
Yes.
to trap the odor in that area. So by calling our police department, at least we can apply whatever leverage we have on the sewer authority to try to make, you know, it's not going to be a formal complaint, and it won't have a formal conclusion from the DEP or the county Department of Health, but at least we can say, listen, a resident said that there was an odor. Our police department went out there and confirmed that there was an odor. It's not that they, you know, sometimes we hear, well, they just spread mulch or something.
And the
You know,
last thing
we'll
about-
say that's not the case.
Would-
But
I'm sorry, go ahead.
just add one more thing. I just saw this week on the sewer authorities, oh, you have it, on the sewer authorities minutes, that they just created a new position and made a new hire for a government, what's the title now?
It's called a government
Government
affairs coordinator.
A government affairs coordinator. So that's someone that I look forward to reaching out to. I'm sure you as a resident will look forward as well.
The
You know
last
what,
thing-
let me read
Okay,
what his
sorry.
responsibilities are, because it'll be good for you to know and us to know.
Can I get a copy, or,
Yeah, I'll give you this.
thank you.
He represents the authority at the Northwest Bergen County Shared Services meetings on all activities and organizations. He coordinates services between Bergen County, the MBCUA, and member municipalities and other public entities. He monitors county, state, and municipal activities that may impact the authority. He meets with governing bodies, which is good, and members of the public to gather information and to communicate the authority's position on issues. He performs public outreach and educational information services as directed, and this is a good one. He monitors all odor and service complaints from municipalities and the public and responds when directed.
Okay. The only other question I have regarding the sewer authority, what about the trucking? 5:30 in the morning, 6:30? And according to, like I was saying, the plans, nothing's supposed to come through Waldwick before 7 in the morning during the week on those trucks, going down there with the diesel elimination, the fuel. Yeah, I mean, you could smell it now and then. And Saturday before 8. And, I mean, now, you know, notice a tremendous amount of different companies coming in to do it, not just Earth. I was up in Cornwall, New York. My daughter lives there. And the tanker was right in front of me, all the way down to Waldwick,
Yeah.
you know. Is
Yeah.
there anything,
I
that
believe
we-
when we looked at this last, the trucks were allowed to come through town at any hour. The issue that we were able to enforce on was, are they idling outside the gate of the sewer
they're
authority?
unloading.
Well,
It's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm
are they
every morning.
are they violating an ordinance?
I don't
Yeah.
think there's an ordinance. I'm sure there isn't an ordinance for them to come down. But
Well, no,
you
it would
could
be an
see-
ordinance-
You could see that, you know, the Earth Care truck go down and half hour later, come back, you know, and it's 6:30 in the morning.
I can look again, but I'm
Okay.
not aware of an ordinance that prohibits trucks from making deliveries to the sewer authority at that time. They're, depending on the type of equipment they're using, maybe there's like a noise ordinance that applies here, but, you know, I remember when we looked at this last, which is probably 6 months to a year ago, you know, the issue we were able to enforce on was the idling problem. They were parking outside the gates and just idling their trucks.
Correct.
We can always enforce on that, and that's an issue that if it comes up, you can call the police department, we'll go down there and enforce it. Any other issue, I can look into if there's
Okay.
any enforcement action that could be taken.
Terrific. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm good.
Just tell us your name and your address, so we have it.
Jason Knoll, yeah, Jason Knoll at 12 Van Dyke Road. And I was just, I don't know if this thing is on, but I was just wondering what is been done about regarding the water situation currently going on? Has there been like any improvements?
Oh, yes. Our administrator will tell you everything that we've done in the past year and now.
Sure, thank you, Mayor. So I'm not sure kind of where you're starting from in terms of how much you're aware of on the system. We send out quarterly notices. We've done that since the first quarter of last year, so you should have received those. You know, broad brush, the DEP, New Jersey adopted limits for PFAS compounds. There's 3 of those that are regulated, PFNA, PFOA, and PFOS. We test for all 3, and we, since the first quarter of last year, we've been out of compliance on 2 of those compounds. And so the borough has awarded contracts to Boswell Engineering for the design, construction inspection for the treatment. The mayor and council have approved $5 million for the construction of that. We have applied to the DEP for permitting. We have applied to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank for funding. The short of it is, right now we are waiting for permit approval. Once we get that, it takes about a month to get bank approval for the funding, and then we'll go out to bid. We expect to bid late this year, and we expect the construction to take place next year. We have faced, and I know that it's a general concern in the community, so I can address it at the front. There have been delays in the project. Some of them related to the time it takes to get DEP permits, some of it time it takes to get land use approval, some of it lead time on materials for the actual treatment. It's something that frustrates us. I know it frustrates the residents. The only thing I can say on behalf of the borough is that we're working as diligently as we can to finalize the installation of this treatment. So that's very broad overview. If you have any specific questions, if the mayor and council wish, I can certainly. Yeah, and if you haven't already, when this first happened in the first quarter of last year, we had a Zoom meeting for all residents. On the meeting, we had experts that the borough has consulting on this project. So we have a water engineer on that call. We had a hydrologist on that call. So if you're interested in that, we have a website on our website. We have a page for the water department, and there's a special subsection for PFAS. If you go on there, you can find that presentation. You can find the audio from it, the slideshow. You can find all the quarterly public notices that we put out. You can find there's a file up there for all the test results quarterly at every well in the borough. There's also resources from the State Department of Health, the State DEP, the EPA, a few other consumer groups.
And
for that.
this Zoom meeting, is it one of those situations where you send an email to the residents, or is it one of those things that are linked directly to the website?
No, so this is recorded, and so if you were looking to access that recording, you would just click the link and it'll come up in an audio file.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for. So you have the audio file and you have the slideshow that's there. You don't have to subscribe to anything or request any additional information. It's right there on our website. I think it ran for over an hour. It was very informative. You're welcome.
And if you have any questions about all this, please do not hesitate. Just call up the town, ask for the administrator's office, and he'll be more than happy to answer any questions.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And we'll continue to put out quarterly notices. We're required to put out quarterly notices until the system is fully in compliance. And so you can expect to continue receiving those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Josh Sheriff of 138 Waldwick Ave, and I speak on behalf of the residents of Waldwick because we have a great concern for our water. It's our filtration system. On Waldwick United, the Facebook page, there is a pinned thing where somebody thought we shouldn't be paying our water bill, and as I speak from Mrs. Cunningham over here too, we have both agreed to attend this meeting, and I think it's very concerning because, and like you said, Mr. Patrick Rury, or Borough Administrator, it is a very concerning thing, and I get it. You gave my other friend, the information. I think that's that it could be very ill, that this, when we're afraid that we've been drinking the water and that we've been showering, it's like it could cause illnesses. So it's a very concerning thing to the residents of Waldwick. So I'm speaking on behalf of the community, and, it's just, yeah.
If you, yeah, so I can address the two parts of that.
Yes.
The first being, you're still paying your water bill.
Right.
For water that
Yes.
may not be completely satisfactory to you. And we have received concern from residents saying, we'd like some rebate if we're buying bottled water, or we just don't want to drink the water that the borough supplies. The issue the borough has is our water system is a utility. That utility is fully funded by ratepayers. So if we were to say to the ratepayers, okay, we understand the situation you're in, you're going to spend $10 a month to buy bottled water, so we're going to give you $10. We have to get that $10 from somewhere, and all of our expenses are raised from the ratepayer. So in that example, I would be asking you to pay us $10 more a month so that we can refund that to you to pay water, and it's circular and not productive. And so for that reason, we haven't offered any rebates to consumers. You know best how to spend your money and of what level of concern this is to you, and so that's why we haven't done anything in that respect. The second point, I think it generally about the concern of you and people on Waldwick United. I think the more information you have, the better. Like I had reference to the person who came up before you, we have the website on our, or the page on our website that has all this information. I hope that anybody that has this concern reviews all the information that's up there. As the mayor said, they can contact me at any time with any questions. I don't think all of our answers will be satisfactory until the treatment is fully implemented and the water tests below the DEP limits.
So this is all based on, are we putting in a filtration system, like you said, or are we?
Yeah, so the borough operates off of 6 wells, and we will be installing filtration systems at each of those sites to filter all water that we pump out of those wells, and that is provided through our water system. We've already installed one treatment system at Veterans Park. We installed that early in 2021. The reason for that, that's well 6 in Veterans Park. That had tested extremely high in the first quarter of required reporting, and because of that, we turned the well off immediately when we got the test results. And unfortunately, we need that well to support the system. Otherwise, we wouldn't have enough supply to meet the demand. So we had that well shut off until we could install a temporary treatment system. The temporary treatment system it's the same system as will be permanently installed there. The temporary system is 1 unit. The DEP requires that permanent treatment have 2 units, so there'll be a redundant system there that's granular activated carbon, and that's what we'll have at all of our well sites.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
I'm Elizabeth Cunningham, and I'm at 43 McKay Avenue. And how long are we going to wait for this to take effect, where you get these filtration systems in? That's the question.
Yeah.
This has been going on not for a couple of months. This is a serious issue, I think. And I'm concerned as to how come it's taking so long. It should be pushed. This is about health. And I don't understand, this is what, since 2020? That this started, that this was found out?
Sure. So we understood that there was a problem in 2019. So and that was prior to the DEP implementing the maximum contaminant limits for the 3. It had already implemented for one of them that we were testing and that we're in compliance with. The other 2, we knew that they were going to, the DEP was going to adopt guidelines for these. So we started testing about a year prior to it being required. Fortunately, we got our results, knew we would have to install some treatment, so we got a jump. We awarded a contract to Boswell Engineering before the DEP even adopted limits. So we're actually, it's not we're ahead of a lot of other municipalities, unfortunately. I mean, fortunately for us, unfortunately for the whole situation, in installing these. This is a $5 million system. It requires a lot of review from the DEP, a lot of review from funding. It's not something that can be built rapidly. We want to make sure that we have a system that is effective in treating for these compounds, and unfortunately that takes some time. Compounding that, the natural lifespan of this project is we're working with the DEP, who for a lot of the permitting process was working remotely, and we encountered some approval times taking twice as long as they normally do. And we expect that when we bid this out, we're looking at longer lead times on items than we had originally expected. When we installed the treatment system at well 6 that I had referenced earlier, we were able to secure that treatment vessel, I think it was, that was in 3 months between when the council awarded a contract and when we had it installed
When
over
was
there.
that?
That was
What's the
last,
date?
that was last spring. So that was for well,
So there's still one filtration system on that?
on well 6, there's one
Just
filtration
one,
system. Like I
since
said
back then.
to the previous person, yeah, and that's because the DEP gave us a temporary permit, which does not require all of the extensive permitting. We're still going through DEP permitting for the one that we have installed, but they let us install it temporarily. But the point was that the lead time for that item was 3 months when we ordered it. Now, if we order, it's going to be 10 months. So that's something that, one, we didn't expect when we originally projected the timeline for this project, and we have no control over, unfortunately. So, I don't think that that's going to alleviate any of your frustration or
So
concern. But
when was it that this was a new thing where you would test it back in 2019? That was something new? They never tested it before?
That's right. That's right.
That's sad.
Well, you can.
Completely sad. You know that famous line that there's something in the water?
Yeah.
I think this is, and I am so disgusted that it has to take this long. You
Yeah.
can say what you want, and there's all the bureaucracy and minutes and that, and looking into stuff and waiting online. I get it. But this is people's health. And I bought a huge Berkey that I'm cooking with and all this other stuff. And we pay a lot of money in this town. All the towns do.
Yeah.
And so to always get that same response back that, oh, it takes time, it takes time, it takes time. I don't care. Get up and do something. Get down there, something. Because this is like 2.5, 3 years. It's an excuse. So it makes me very frustrated, and I wanted to come down and say that. And there are many people, I don't know why they're not here, maybe because they don't feel like they're being heard or whatever, because it's all out there. We're all frustrated. It makes no sense that it just feels like, oh, well, we're trying. Well, try harder, please. Seriously.
Anyone else?
Rosie, 135 Norden Street. So just bear with me, I have like 4 things. So one point I just wanted to ask about was the water shutoff. I know that there was a notification that went in the Nixle, and there was also on the sign outside, but I'm not sure if anybody else noticed, but there was a lot of our neighbors who were not aware. And so I think it was a little bit frustrating knowing that you have some residents that are conscientious and then others who either just didn't get the notification or just are disregarding it. So I just wanted you to find out if this occurs again, I guess, what is the stance that the town is going to be taking?
Sure.
Sorry, you're getting a lot today.
No, that's why I'm here. I understand your frustration. The borough is fortunate to have a lot of supply of water, right? A lot of surrounding municipalities, throughout the year, they have standing water conservation guidelines. They're able to water twice a week on alternating days and things. The borough is very fortunate that we allow residents to water pretty much whenever they want and whatever amount that they want. There are times when excessive heat combined with no rain for extended periods of time, combined with, in this case, we had one well that came offline unexpectedly requires a sudden requirement, an immediate requirement for people to turn off their wells. In those instances, the best we can do is an email alert and, and the signboard. We have police officers who go around and will notify residents that they see watering. We put out our water department to notify people when they're watering that they should shut it off. It's not a perfect system. We somewhat rely on, we know the number of people that are going to comply is going to give us the ability to refill the system. We don't expect 100% compliance. We would like it. It would help us refill our system faster, but we don't have that expectation. And in this instance, what we thought was going to happen did happen. We'd put it in until Sunday where people couldn't water, and by Sunday we had reserved or refilled our reservoir. But back to your original point, I mean, it's just frustrating where
Yeah,
not everybody knows. If it was for a longer duration, we would do
Okay.
something different for sure. So if, that well that went out of service, if we thought that this was going to be, a months-long thing, we would do different things. We would make different notices. We would start writing tickets where now we just, we look for compliance. Certainly we would do different things. But
So is there a time frame that you would then look at issuing tickets or something along those lines? So since this was, sent out, Thursday, it was till
Thursday.
Sunday, so that was not sufficiently long enough? So
That-
if it's more than 5 days, would you? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it depends. But yeah, if it's longer, so let's say I spoke with the DPW superintendent over the weekend, and so we knew on Sunday that we were in a good position. But come Monday morning, if our reservoir isn't refilling, then yeah, at that point, I'm having a different conversation with the mayor and council. We're asking them to approve a resolution that gives us more enforcement power, and we're out there writing tickets. I would say if we hadn't gotten that compliance by Sunday, early this week, if it's getting worse, I would expect action would be taken. And that's what we had discussed late last week, that we would have an opportunity to take action at this meeting. But yeah, I think if it extends longer than, let's say, 5 days a week, we would be making different considerations.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
thank you, I
Yeah,
appreciate
sure.
it. The next question I had was regarding the road construction that's going on right now. I understand that it has to happen, but I'm just wondering if something else could be put into place, because a lot of the corners of the streets that are being shut down, for pedestrians, now you're having children who are on bikes having to go onto the street. And I know today, somebody that I know already had an issue with their child who was on a bike that, had a close encounter with a car. So I'm just kind of wondering what else could be put into place. Can the cones be pushed up further so that the children would be able to, and pedestrians would be able to kind of go around that corner onto the street? Something like that. I'm not asking you for a resolution at this moment, but
understand.
just something to consider.
Yep.
Especially it's the summer, they're all out,
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I just wanted to bring up, I just wanted to say thank you for the gate at Ted Bell Park. That's such a big thing for all the residents that are using it over there.
Yeah.
All of the kids love it, including my own. But there's nothing worse than being petrified that a child runs out. So thank
Yeah.
you. Couldn't come any faster.
Yeah. This coming week, I think they said the 21st, they will be installed. It's not going to be an ideal solution because it's going to kind of come over to where the walkway is, but it'll be an improvement.
But it's
we're happy about that.
But it's
Yeah.
better than trying to chase a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
or something, right?
For
So
certain.
thank
Yeah.
you. And I also have some concerns regarding the water as well, but I'm not going to repeat what everybody else said. But I actually had a suggestion. You had mentioned the Zoom meeting that was done last year, and I think there's not a lot of individuals that are online savvy who are going to be looking at that, and it's also quite long, and it could be a little bit overwhelming as well in terms of information. So would it be possible to have another town meeting to discuss it, to go over questions, provide information, that at least people could be prepared to then go to attend it if possible? I mean, obviously we can't, confirm how many people would go, but at least make it available.
Well, we did one step ahead of that when we sent everybody a letter explaining to them everything. And that letter triggered off everybody to go.
Well, the
concerned.
letter's
Well-
overwhelming, I think, to be quite honest.
Well, the meeting would
You
also
know?
be overwhelming, but we will look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate, I think because you're getting a letter, but then once you read the letter, who are you going to talk to?
Yeah, you should tell people, and if you speak, call me, right? So I constantly am in communication with concerned residents, and I can't alleviate their concern, but I can at least explain where we are in the process, and certainly clear up some miscommunication. And the people that I've spoken with, the most concerned ones are, in my opinion, concerned because they don't understand fully the project, and maybe they've been given bad information, or it's confusing, to your point, even that letter. And a lot of this is, you don't want to keep blaming the DEP, but that letter is prescribed by the DEP. We fit as much information in there on our own as we can, but like everything that you don't understand is
Would it be
DEP
possible to
requirement.
have a meeting and invite a member of the DEP to be there? I mean, like, why not?
Anything's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. I just don't want to tell you that they'll come.
No, but I mean, it doesn't hurt.
The most helpful things that we had at the last meeting, we had our water engineer and we had our hydrologist there. And, you know, I can certainly speak to anybody's concerns about the process and the information that's prescribed to us from the DEP, but they know more specifically, not just about Waldwick system, but our engineer is designing PFAS treatment for half a dozen other systems at least, right? And so those are in our area, because this isn't a problem unique to Waldwick, sadly.
No.
So you know, they can share some of that experience with other municipalities too, which may be helpful.
All right,
So I
thank
can
you.
speak with the mayor and council about that.
Appreciate it.
Good to see you here. Anyone else?
Al Colden, Dante Place. Mr. Weary, I believe every single word you say today, tonight. I'm not frustrated at all, but let's rush it a little because my time's running out. I'm not kidding. Time's running out, guys. Mike.
Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Melissa. I live on 22 West Prospect Street. I'm just concerned about the stairs near the train tracks. Like it's disgraded. Like you know how like like the metal, like it's like rotting. That's
Yeah.
what the word is. Sorry, like rusting. So I'm kind of concerned about it. Have anyone else complained about that?
We'll have our administrators reach out to the
Transit.
and
Mhm.
see if they could work on it.
Okay.
Is it in any specific area, or is it
It's
concerned
just, like,
throughout?
There's some brown spots, like I see, like around, like the
Sure.
On the
edges.
steps
Like,
or on the
I think like on the steps and like around it.
Okay.
So like, yeah, just curious.
Okay, yeah, well, he'll reach out.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. You all know me, Joe Horovitz, 41 Mary Lane. I hold here the two documents the town sent out regarding the water system. My statement is, I would like to commend this council and the mayor and the borough administrator for the action you've taken to remediate the PFOS, PFAS chemicals that are in the water system. There are over 12,000 chemicals, 12,000 chemicals in this chemical class. Dr. Mike Ritchie, you know what I'm talking about. Paul, you're a geologist, you know what I'm talking about. We all tap into the same aquifer up and down the East Coast in the country. Waldwick, this is not a Waldwick problem. This is a nationwide problem. So when I was on Waldwick United and people started to make statements on Waldwick United about the mayor and council are not doing anything, why are you poisoning us? Our water is poison. Our water is not poison. A poison, what is a poison, Dr. Mike? A poison is a chemical that will kill you, okay? PFOS and PFAS will not kill you. It may, and this is in our letter here from the DEP, it may, they don't even have complete studies about what it may do to someone, okay? I'm 68 years old. I've lived in Waldwick since I was I was diagnosed cancer in '78. I'm still here. I had a heart attack 18 months ago. I'm still here. Drinking the water in Waldwick has not killed me, and it's not going to kill anybody. Okay? Are these chemicals present in the water, and do they have to be addressed? Yes, and we are doing that. Well 6 is complete. All our other wells are according, we got the Boswell Engineering is working on it. We're going to treat our water. It's going to happen, but it doesn't happen overnight. Okay? You can't just wave the magic wand and say, okay, let's spend millions of dollars right now. Boom, 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 5 wells. Let's get them treated. It's concerning. Yeah, it's concerning. Oh, well, I'm going to go out and buy bottled water now, but I want the town to pay for my bottled water. I went on the internet today, and I looked at Avion, I looked at Poland Spring, I looked at 6 other bottled waters. Guess what they have in them? Bottled waters. PFOS and PFAS. Oh, so people are going out and buying bottled water. I go to the supermarket, they're coming out with 5-gallon jugs of bottled water. It's got the same stuff in it that we're pumping out of the ground in Waldwick here. So what do they think? I want you to pay for my bottled water back. It doesn't work that way. We're treating our water. It's not poison. Okay? Well, I'm going to put an RO system on my house. Reverse osmosis. Dr. Mike, what's reverse osmosis? You take water and you put it through a pressurized membrane, and it drops all the minerals and everything else out of the water. But what happens when so for every 5 gallons of water you put through an RO system, you get 1 gallon of water that you can use and drink. But what happens when you drink the 1 gallon of water, RO water? You know what it does to your body? You have minerals in your body that you get through food, protein, foods, and vitamins. When you drink RO water, the minerals get sapped out of your body and through your urine into the sink. So what does that happen? What happens to your body when you're drinking RO water? You get sick because now you're not getting the minerals and the things that you get from drinking, walking over to a thing, it's opening the spigot in Waldwick and drinking the water with minerals in it. And I mean, people are crazy. They're alarmist. They want everybody to be up in arms. Oh, you're poisoning us. This is terrible. It's terrible. Waldwick is not the only town it's happening. It's all over the country. It's in the bottled water. People will sell you an RO water system. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Get out your checkbook and buy an RO water system. But don't drink the RO water. So what are you going to do with it? Bathe with it? Take showers with it? Okay. And show me a study that says when you stand in the shower that the water that's coming out of the spigot is those chemicals, the PFOS and PFOS, are going into your body. How long do you spend in the shower? I get in the shower. I'm in the shower for 5 minutes. So how much contaminants am I going to take in? I mean, really? People are crazy. They're nuts. Mr. Colden is 90 years old. Al, God bless you. The water in Waldwick is not going to kill you. Okay? New Jersey is one of the 10 worst states for air pollution in this country. Does anybody realize that? Air pollution. You walk out of your house and you breathe the air. Okay? And we're getting emphysema, lung cancer, COPD from the air that we breathe because all the states in the Midwest are burning coal to generate electricity. And where do you think all that pollution goes? Okay, the prevailing winds are out of the west. So we're breathing air pollution where, you walk out of your house and you go from your house to your car, and the sun is shining down on you. Who puts on 50 sunblock every day when they get up in the morning? You put on sunblock in the morning when you go out? Mr. Mayor, you put on sunblock?
Do I look it?
No, but the radiation from the sun hits your skin. Look at me. I just came from the shore. Okay, I sat out on the Jersey Shore on the beach. My dermatologist would go nuts. Okay, melanoma, it's sun radiation. There are 1,000 things that will kill you in this world. 1,000 things. God bless me, I've lived to be 68 years old. I'm still here. I'm still kicking. The water in Waldwick is not going to kill me, and it's not going to kill anybody else. We're taking the steps that we need to take, and I am proud to say that as I sat on the council in years past, I was part of those decisions to get well 6 fixed. We're going to get the rest of our wells fixed, but it's not going to happen overnight. You can't wave the magic wand and say, with 1/3 of the tax dollar that people in this town are paying, the town, this council, has 1/3 of that money to work with. The Board of Ed gets the other 2/3, okay? And you drive by the high school, see where that's going, okay? So you're doing a good job. I am happy that I was part of it. Keep up the good work. We'll get our wells fixed, but it's not going to happen overnight, and we will work on this. And the DEP, you know, everybody wants to know, well, who do we complain to? Who do we complain to? Pick up the phone and call Governor Murphy, because his boys down in Trenton, the DEP, just decided, they woke up a couple of years ago and said, oh, geez, you know, these PPM levels, we're not, you know, we got to start making some changes here and get the PPM level. No, not PPM, parts per trillion. Parts per trillion. Does anybody know how infinitesimally small 1 part per trillion is? I think it's in the letter here. 1 part per trillion. I worked as a chemist and ran machines that measured parts per million, and I thought that was infinitesimally small. I'm surprised they even have machines that measure parts per trillion. But they do, and now they've said, well, you can't have more than 1.4 parts per trillion in your, you know, 0.14 micrograms per liter. Okay. And it may hurt. We don't even know if it will, but we have to warn you because it may hurt you. Doing a good job. We'll get the wells fixed. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Anyone else? You had your turn. You can't get up again. Okay.
Al Colden, Dante Place. Just for the record, I still drink our water. And the only reason I've been thinking about it is because you sent me a letter saying, don't drink the water. Anyone over 85 or something, don't drink the water. You know, I'm not panicky about this. I know we're going to get it straightened out, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. And anyone that's had any kind of business doing what you're doing has no idea the paperwork going through, how things are held up. The whole country's like this. You can't do nothing that you want to do without going through all this crap. And that's what we're doing now. When it comes, it comes. But, you know, Joe should write a book on this. I'd buy the first copy because I don't know what he was talking about. But, you know, and I happen to like Joe.
He ran away.
Wherever he went. I don't know. But, listen, like everything, I got a saying, give time.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
I have nothing to say about the water. I've been drinking it since 1967, no complaints. And I'm sure that everything will be addressed properly. I've talked to Paul about it for an extended period of time one day when we were getting vaccinated. I know what's going to get taken care of. I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of the ambulance corps. Thank you for addressing the problems that we're having. And like Paul said, we have the shower working now. The room has been done as far as painting is concerned. I had forwarded you that quote. We had talked about doing it ourselves. We had gotten a quote, and so I forwarded you that recently.
Okay.
So you can take a look at it. But thank you everybody. And I don't know if anybody's brought it to your attention or not, but we've been pulling a lot of day calls lately as well. We have college kids are back. We have some new members that are also EMTs. And so we've been able to take care of a lot of not only the local day calls, but we're also pulling just today we pulled a daytime call for Allendale. So we're doing mutual aid as well, so trying to step it up as best we can. That's it.
That's John
Only
Papendick.
the public is talking, please.
I'm just giving his name, you have to give your name.
Okay, I'm sorry. John Papendick, 30 Campbell Street, captain in the ambulance corps.
Sorry about that.
That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Who have?
Jeff Rogoff, 63 East Prospect. Quick comments and a question. So first I wanted to thank Councilwoman Sherman for flagging that issue about the sign. I don't think I had appreciated that upon reading the minutes. I thought that was a good question and a good point, so I thank you for that. With regard to the road work that's being done on East Prospect Street, I have noticed, I appreciate it's very hot, and I certainly want the workers to hydrate, but I have noticed a lot of bottles just being left on my property, on the corner, on the sewer. And I'm picking them up, and it's been, I can't swear it's them, but I believe it is likely, given that the road is closed for a good part of the day, and it keeps appearing. So if we could just remind them to take their water and whatever with them, that would be appreciated. And I just wanted to clarify, I think I remember from the notice that was left on my door, as well as hearing earlier, I thought the level of work that's being done now is like milling, perhaps, or at the curbs, and that the later road work on East Prospect will be later in the year. Could you just confirm again the timeline for the work on East Prospect?
Sure, thank you, Mayor. Right now, we're doing improvements to the curb ramps, and we have some drainage going in over by Phelan Court. We expect to wrap that up this week, and then next week to start with milling and paving. So there'll be 2 days of milling, 2 days of paving. The milling, it'll run 2 days. We're going all the way from Franklin Turnpike to Route 17. So we'll only be in front of your house for 1 day of milling, 1 day of paving. If you subscribe to Nixle, we'll put out a notice starting this Friday with what the schedule is going to look like next week. Hopefully at that point we have a better idea of which day we start milling, and as we go through next week we'll provide daily updates, because the schedule is liable to change depending on weather, especially rain. But generally it's going to be milling, 2 days milling, 2 days
What I'm really trying to figure out, I guess, is there a day I should take the car out of the driveway,
Yes.
put it on a local road a few blocks up so I can get my kids from camp?
Absolutely, yeah. So the milling is less intrusive, and you can share this with your neighbors, and we'll share this on the note that we put out on Friday. The milling isn't as intrusive. Usually, we're in front of your house. If you need to get out of your driveway, there'll be a police officer there. You can kind of flag them down, and they'll tell you when it's safe to pull out. But you can drive on a freshly milled road, so that's not an issue. We can get local traffic in and out. The day that we pave, you're going to want to take your car and move it to another location, because it'll take us a few hours to put down the pavement, and then it'll take a few hours for the pavement to cool. How long that takes really depends on the temperature of the asphalt when it comes off the truck, surface temperature, because it's got to cool down to a specific temperature before you can drive on it. We'll be putting water on it to try to cool it down as quick as we can, but that's going to take some time. You could be off the road for 6 hours on the day of paving. So that's the day that you're going to want to park on a side street.
So
for
the
access.
day before, could you send that Nixle alert, just reminding, saying,
We'll be-
it is tomorrow,
Yes.
get your car 2 blocks away so you can get your car out?
Starting Friday, I expect we'll be sending notices each day.
Okay.
With and that's what we typically do for our municipal paving, which is going to start after we finish East Prospect Street. And we'll move into our municipal paving program, just like we do for the municipal paving program, where each day we put out a note as to what the work for the next day, and usually the subsequent few days will entail. So you'll see
I
that. So just
appreciate
make sure
that.
you're checking Nixle.
I will, but if you could just like bold or something, the day of the paving itself, because that's the part I really need to
That's
pay
the
attention
important part. Yeah, yeah. We try to break it down into like a table, make it as easy for you to understand. If you have questions, give me a
Yeah,
call.
just
but
the
we,
day of the paving
day of
specifically
the
is what
paving.
I'm looking for.
Yeah, very good. We'll
Thank
let you
you.
know. Sure thing.
Anyone else?
Josh Sheriff of 138 Waldwick Ave. So actually, I want to thank Ms. Sherman for the whole Waldwick Access for All. Actually, I have autism myself, and I think that it's kind of nice that we have we're starting to get a lot of representation for people with autism like me, myself. And I just have a question. When is the Access for Waldwick meeting at 7 o'clock?
It's this coming Monday
It's Monday?
at 7 PM in this room.
Oh, great, thank you. Yeah, because I'll give some feedback to you. Thank you for doing that, because it's really, I think I feel very represented in the community of Waldwick for this whole Access for Waldwick. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Councilman Sherman, second by Councilwoman Saracola. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?